Hi everyone, this is Gaurav and welcome to my learning channel. So in today's video, we will take a look at functions. So as a part of this video, we will not go into too much of the details of a function. It's a vast field, but rather we'll just try to cover the basics of functions so that we know enough to understand some of the subsequent video, which will keep on, leveraging the concepts of a function. So with that, let's take a look at the dictionary definition of a function. So as per the dictionary, it says a function is defined as a relation between a set of inputs having one output each. It's quite a mouthful. So let's take a look at a very simple example. One of the very simplest example of function will be y equals to x plus 1. So in this, let's say that if the value of x is 1, then the value of y will be 2. 1 plus 1 equals to 2. And when the value of x is equal to 2, then again 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. The value of y is going to be 3 and so on. So one of the way to denote a function is y is equal to f of x. Here f means functions. Whenever you see something like f of x, that means nothing but function of x. Okay. I also want to quickly introduce the concept of quadrants and a simple graph. So we are all aware of a two-dimensional graph. So in a two-dimensional space, the horizontal axis is called x-axis and the vertical axis is called y-axis. On the x-axis, you have 4 different quadrants. The one on the right-hand side, right and up, is called quadrant 1, and then right left towards that, right next to the left is your quadrant 2, and then your quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. I don't think that we have to remember any of that. It's like a counterclockwise. This is just to kind of remember, because sometime in some of the concepts you will keep on seeing that the set of functions is also going to give you a result in a particular quadrant. So that's why it's kind of important to understand what does quadrant mean. In terms of the values for y-axis, anything which is above x-axis, the value will be positive, and then anything below will be negative. Similarly, for x-axis, anything on the right-hand side of y-axis is going to be positive, which is this area, and then anything on the left-hand side is going to be negative, which is this area. So whenever someone says that there is a point called 1, 1 or 1, 2, that means that first value, that 1, is your x, and the second value is called is your y. So 1, 2 is probably going to be somewhere in this quadrant, which is because both of the value x and y is positive. These are some of the sample functions. So first one is your linear function. When I say linear function, it means the power of both x and y. The exponential for the both x and y is 1. So as you can see that it's x to the power of 1 minus 4 into y to the power 1 is equal to 5. So there is no power. So a linear equation is going to be a straight line. Very simplest way to draw a straight line on a graph is going to be always put the value of x and y as 0 and then try to find the other values. So in this case, say for instance, if you put the y is equal to 0, then value of x is equal to 5. You can check that here. So if you put the y is equal to 0, the value of x will be 5, and if you put the value of x is equal to 0, value of y is going to be minus 5 by 4, which is somewhere here. Now, every point on this graph will satisfy this condition. That's the beauty of the overall graph or the linear function. Now, anything else apart from which is not a linear function is a non-linear function, as the name suggests. But this is a vast sea of different functions. So you can have a polynomial function, and you can have, like, for instance, y is equal to x square. So graph for the y is equal to x square will be something like this. Again, simplest way to draw this is just put the value of x is equal to 0. You will get the value of y, and this is where you get to know where does this graph intersect any of these axes. And then afterwards you can put some subsequent values and you will know how the shape of the graph is going to be. For the most part, you will have to remember some of these graphs, especially the exponential ones, sinusoidal ones, because those are the ones that you will keep on using on your day-to-day in your stats journey. There are some other representation of functions as well. So in this space, in the left-hand side, you have an x space. This is also called domain. And let's say that in your x domain, you have 4 different numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And on the right-hand side, you have y, which is also called a codomain. Let's just say that you have 5 different values. So you have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the shadow for 1 is 2. Let's say the shadow for 2 is 3, 3 is 4, 4 is 5. So that can be denoted as a part of a function, which is y is equal to x plus 1. So that's one way to denote this. So in this case, the range for function, which is the distinct value that a y can take, is going to be 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are these values. So if you have a limited space in your that a function can take the values for, this is one way that you can potentially denote. But more than that, I think it's very easy and simple way to understand a particular function. This is how it operates. You take the set of a value, you apply some mathematical function on top of it, and then you get some output, and that's what is being stored as a part of your codomain. There are two types of function that I would like to quickly introduce. There are a few more, onto function and so on. So those are the ones which is not very useful on your day-to-day. So first one is a one-to-one function. So in this case, like for instance, it's just the way we saw in the previous example, each value of x in the domain will have a unique value in y, which is your codomain. So 1 is rated to 2, 2 is rated to 3, 3 is rated to 4, and so on. So that can be denoted as a function y is equal to x plus 1. So again, to reiterate, each of the value of x will have just one value of y. Many to one, as the name suggests, more than one value of x will have one value of y. So in this case, let's say if the one example for the function could be y is equal to x squared. So in this case, for x is equal to 1, the value of y is going to be 1. And for x is equal to minus 1, again, the value of y is going to be 1 only, because minus 1 into minus 1 is equal to 1. Similarly, for value of x is equal to 2 or minus 2, the value of y is going to be 4 in both the cases. So that's where this is like many to one. Just wanted to kind of quickly introduce these terminologies. You have one to one, many to one, one to many, many to many. These are some of the relations that you will keep on seeing in your subsequent videos. So that's why I want to quickly introduce this topic. So that's about it for the function in the next video. So now in the next video, we'll start introducing the concept of data and sample. And from there on, we'll keep on introducing some of the key features and functionalities that we keep on using in the day-to-day in your stats work. Thank you so much, and happy learning.